Hello, everybody. Welcome to You Are the Opera Power with Gail and
Hi,
Jane.
Jane. Hi, Gail.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So today I thought I had something on my mind this week, and I started writing about it, and I never got it finished, but I'm going to finish it for a blog post. But it occurred to me, you know how the Bible is not literal history, right? It says all through it that it's an allegory. A lot of the stories are allegories. And what an allegory is a story that holds symbolic meaning. So what had occurred to me, just came to my head or into my mind, was the story of Noah and the ark. And so, of course, before we get into that, I would just want to quickly explain the difference between objective and subjective thinking. So objective thinking is reacting with your five senses to what's going on in the world outside. And the world outside is, from Neville Goddard's terms, considered facts. So whatever you're imagining in your head, when it manifests, it becomes a fact. So your imagination is the true reality. The fact world, which is what you've imagined manifesting, is really the past. So subjective thinking is looking at things from the perspective of what you're imagining as being reality. So if I imagine I've eaten an apple, then I've eaten an apple. And when I actually end up eating an apple in the physical world, that becomes a fact that I ate an apple. And that's the proof that I ate the apple, because I've physically eaten the apple. But that really is the past, because what you do in your imagination you have to imagine it for it to be able to manifest as a fact. So using the Noah and the ark, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that subjective objective seems to be a big part that is sort of the aha moment of a lot
Subjective is freedom.
Yes.
That is being within, going within, living.
Yes.
You're living in the fact world, but from inside yourself. So you're totally responsible. You take full responsibility for everything in your fact world. And when there's something you don't like, then that's just showing you something in your consciousness. And so you deal with it from that perspective.
And it seems to be the ongoing process of what we're talking about is that return to that inner sanctuary inside, that I am the operant power here. I am in control of what I'm thinking, and I am going to create
for everything.
Yes, and I'm going to create and pay attention to the things that align with my wants.
Right. And I mean, you will have, just because of the story that's playing out that each of us is a part of, you're going to have things that come up and show up that are not things that you think are okay, or no, I don't think like that. But at some point, you've accepted it as true. And
yes,
a point that needs to be made, when you're watching TV, when you're listening to the radio, when you're listening to conversations, if something is said and you don't consciously decline the truth of it, doesn't fit for you, then it automatically goes into your consciousness.
Right.
So unless you consciously say, no, that's not how that is, then it goes into your consciousness. It may not have a huge effect initially, because it wouldn't have that much power. But if you're constant, and this is how propaganda works, you constantly are hearing things over and over again, and then it starts to become a belief if you are accepting it and not consciously denying it. that's how subliminals work, right?
And of
Putting them in and not denying. So they must be.
okay, yes. And we're bombarded with information in many different, like, we're picking up a lot of information in this
And
time.
then what happens is, and you automatically imagine, if I say there's a pink elephant in this room, you automatically imagine that pink.
Right.
Whether or not it has any, whether or not it becomes a fact in the near future is besides the point, but you're imagining it.
Yes.
So when you think about propaganda and all the stuff going on in the news, there's how many people are hearing that and imagining that.
And how much of it?
Yeah. So what came to mind this week was about the story of Noah and the ark. And from the Bible is not literal. Again, it's symbolic stories that have.
Yes.
But for those that may not know the story, just briefly, from what I know of the story, because I don't really know it word for word, but there was issues on the earth with people, killing each other, doing things that God didn't want them to do. And Noah was righteous in his thinking and was chosen by God to basically move on to the new world that God was going to create, because he was going to get rid of the present one. He was going to flood it out. He said, no, I'm having a flood. Here's the instructions, make this ark. You're going to go in this ark. You're going to bring X, Y, Z with you. And when the flood's over, I'll let you know, and you're going to have a new world. So, he told them, bring a pair, male and female, of, all these different kinds of animals and birds and stuff like that. So that's the literal story. I don't have any memory of that, so I don't know if that really happened, if that literally happened or not. But it doesn't matter, because for our purposes, we're going to be focusing on it from a subjective perspective. So what exactly does that mean? So, and I think we can relate it so well to what we're all experiencing now. I'm not suggesting there's going to be a flood or anything like that, because God's promise to Noah actually was there would never be another flood where everybody would be wiped out. So, which is a good thing. But now to be able to understand is going to be helpful in moving forward for ourselves, each of us. So Noah represents a thought, and that thought is within all of us. So every quote unquote man, M-A-N, has this thought buried deep within. And that's just, and as an aside, all of the characters in the Bible represent states of mind or beliefs or thoughts. So whatever you're seeing name-wise, there's a meaning behind their name, which represents a belief, a thought, and it's all buried within us.
Hello.
Hi, FedEx. So back to the story. So Noah is a belief, and that he was righteous in that he believed that there was good in people and a good life. And so God said to him, okay, you're going to create an ark to save yourself from the coming flood. So the ark is within, going within. Subjective thinking is your savior from this flood of facts.
Right.
Information we're having thrown at us from all different, about all different things from all different ways, is what Neville Goddard considered the flood to be. It's a flood of facts. So, and quite often, because we tend to react to hearsay and listen to hearsay and are not discerning about what we're accepting and allowing into our consciousness, we get overwhelmed by all of these facts. So the savior for that is you go within your ark. So within your ark are, the birds and the animals that were suggested in the literal story all represent thoughts and beliefs. So you bring male and female of each of them so they can grow and develop. The male female aspect is imagination and man together. So it would be man's imagination is the female aspect of himself. And so there, you're bringing those kinds of thoughts. When you're going within, you're looking for, you're looking at changing from the fear and the negative thoughts and having the different perception, perceiving life differently, having the recognizing the thoughts that are creating your reality and focusing on what you want. And on top of that, there was the what was considered as unclean animals that he was also directed to bring, because that's part of the story and keeping the story going and growing and expanding our consciousness.
So would that mean that we would be contemplating when we go within both sides of the story, positive and negative? Like with
well, it'd be more, is this what I want? So I don't know, give me an example of something that you hear about that won't get us kicked off YouTube.
The price of mortgages is the
interest is gonna go way up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that can be overwhelming for some people if you have a limited income and you're just making it your mortgage payments now. So you recognize your reaction to that. What's your reaction to that? Oh no, what's going to happen? Oh my God, I'm going to go bankrupt. I'm going to lose my house. Okay. If that's your reaction, you're reacting to your physical senses. So you're reacting objectively. So what you want to do is recognize, is that what you want? Is what you fear or what you're thinking is going to happen, is that what you want to happen? No. Okay. So then you have to go within and recognize that, no, I maybe used to think that way. I used to react all the time to everything that's going on in fact world. But I don't do that anymore. Now I know that my house is totally secure. And then you live from that place in your mind. You still have to pay your mortgage. You still have to do whatever you need to do for Caesar's world, but knowing in your mind that it has no effect on the security of your house.
Right.
Implies that it's going to be fine. Whatever is going to happen. I don't know the how. But I just know that my house is secure.
Right. Because you're the caretaker of your own thoughts.
Right. And it goes back to the thing that I know you love is like, what do you want? So it's being able to recognize. So you're not pondering. You don't want to ponder too much on what you don't want because you're creating that. But so you want to, I just reacted to that. No, that's not. I don't think that way anymore. I know that now I'm, secure in my home, using that as an example. And so you come from that perspective. It doesn't matter what happens out here. You want to recognize it, because if you're reacting to it, then that means that's a clue to you that you're holding it in your consciousness. And if you're holding it in your consciousness, that's the reason that it's showing up. In fact,
yes,
world.
Right.
So
that's pretty. I really like the idea of the arc and the wave and flood of information and just going within and I think that's really what we're all trying to do in these times right now. There's a lot of information out there, and it
gives you power, right?
Yes.
Because you see a lot of people are trying to change things in the fact world.
Yes.
But if you haven't changed within and you're holding all of those things in your consciousness that you're reacting to, it's just recreating.
Yes.
Recreating.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool
Yeah.
insight they came up about Noah's Ark.
Hmm.
Anything else from you today?
Well, we
We
had
tried to
talked
shorten
last
our
time.
videos. This should be a short one.
Yeah, I just really like the judgment one too, about splitting love in two. And I've been sort of being more aware of where I'm judging or where judgment is coming up or coming at me, and being able to go within and just keep focused on what I want.
Yeah. Why don't we do another video about that?
Yeah, we will.
This one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that
it's in short, and then we can just make the next one.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any comments, questions, just leave them down below, please. And feel free to subscribe and share. And we'll see you next time.
Bye for now. Bye,
Bye.
Gail.